Hello, everyone. My name is Zulfiqar, and welcome to another episode of Income Investors. With me today is John Whitefoot. But before I go into any details, I want to let you know that anything you hear in this video is for information and educational purposes only. Nothing in this video should be taken as a personalized investment advice. Investing comes with risk. To read more about it, please see the description below. Ark Restaurants Corp, traded on NASDAQ under symbol ARKR, is an overlooked high-yield restaurant stock that has been trending higher over the last year. The company is reporting solid results. It reinstated its pandemic-gutted dividends in April 2022, and this past May hiked its payout by 50%. And the outlook for this restaurant stock remains robust. John?
Yeah, thanks, Mo. Inflation may be high, but Americans continue to spend, a sign that consumers are fueling economic growth and maybe not quite as concerned about a recession as Wall Street is. In April, retail sales at stores, online, and in restaurants grew 0.3%. Over April, economists are expecting growth of just 0.1%. And excluding sales at gas stations, retail spending actually grew 0.6%. While sales at restaurant may be leveling off from the earlier post-pandemic boom, the broader outlook for the restaurant industry remains pretty solid, with food service industry sales expected to increase 6.4%, or 60 billion year over year, to 997 billion this year.
And this trend bodes well for restaurant stocks like Ark Restaurants Corp, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking that the number of restaurant stocks trading on the NASDAQ isn't huge, just 33 companies at last look. But chances are there are some on the list that investors are not entirely familiar with, and Ark Restaurants may be one of them. It's a New York City-based company that owns and operates 17 restaurants and bars, 16 fast food concepts and catering operations, primarily New York City, Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, Atlantic City, New Jersey, and the East Coast of Florida and the Gulf Coast of Alabama. Locations include, some of them are pretty decent restaurants, like Bryant Park Grill and Robert and The Porch in New York City and Sequoia in Washington, D.C. Yeah, many of its other restaurants are located inside casinos. For example, its Las Vegas operations include 4 restaurants within New York Hotel and Casino Resort, and 6 food court concepts and 1 restaurant within Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Meanwhile, in Atlantic City, New Jersey, the company operates a restaurant in the Tropicana Hotel and Casino. In Alabama, it operates 2 original oyster houses.
And how are their financials looking? How did they do in the last quarter?
Good, mixed, but good. In the second quarter ended April 1st, 2023, Ark Restaurants announced that total revenue increased 5.8% year over year to 41.8 million. While year-to-date revenue climbed 6.9% to 89.3 million. Sales could have been higher, but the company's Gallagher Steakhouse, New York Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas was closed for renovations for much of the quarter. Revenues typically are 2.3 million for the quarter, but this past quarter, they only generated sales of 714,000. So that's a big difference. Excluding Gallagher Steakhouse, company-wide same-store sales actually increased 8.3% for the quarter. Meanwhile, second quarter adjusted earnings was 1 million compared to 1.48 in the same prior year quarter. Ark Restaurants reported a second quarter net loss of 484,000, or loss of 13 cents per share, compared with second quarter 22 net income of 1.05 million, or 29 cents per share. That said, the company ended the quarter still in a strong position, with cash balance of 17.8 million, total debt of just 14.9 million. And since the second quarter ended, it has repaid 2 promissory notes totaling 6.04 million.
The exciting part, how has their dividend been?
Well, perhaps not surprisingly, Ark Restaurants suspended its dividend in March 2020, which was the depths of the pandemic, in an effort to preserve cash flow, which was a smart move, but not something income hogs want to see. But it was reinstated in the second quarter of 2022 on the heels of strong revenue and earnings growth. Before the pandemic, Ark paid a quarterly dividend of 25 cents per share. And in April 2022, it was reinstated at 0.125 per share, so half. The company held it there until this past May, when it announced it hiked it by 50% to 0.1875 per share, or 75 cents per share on an annual basis. This works out to a yield of 4.03%. Ark Restaurants' dividend is on the rise. It still needs to climb an additional 33% to get to its pre-pandemic levels.
So can we say that Ark's dividend is out of danger zone?
Not entirely, but I think mostly. There's still some lingering concerns that recent global events, including COVID, are adversely affecting the global economy. Supply chain issues and labor force participation could also be headwinds for the broader restaurant industry. Should these factors rear their ugly heads to the same degree that they did during the pandemic and negatively impact cash flows, Ark may need to take similar measures, which includes suspending its dividend and increasing borrowing. The same warnings, though, could be heeded by any investor considering restaurant or retail stocks. It's not unique to this company. Having said that, I think the positive thing is that by the very nature that Ark's board raised its quarterly dividend by 50% suggests it's confident in the direction Ark Restaurants is going and to future cash flow generations. Yeah, and if it weren't facing economic uncertainty, I'd say Ark Restaurants has more than enough room to announce another big increase to its dividend over the coming quarters. The company's payout ratio is just 24.88%, far below the 90% threshold that I think any of us are willing to stomach. But in this climate, it's more important than ever to preserve cash.
How about their stock price? How is that done over, year to date or over the last 1 year?
Ark Restaurants dividend isn't the only thing getting a boost. Ark stock is also on the move too, up 11% year to date and 14% year over year. That's just a sliver below the strong pace of the S&P 500.
All right, John, thank you so much for providing analysis on Ark Restaurants Corp, traded on NASDAQ under symbol ARKR. It is a great stock that saw its share price take a dive during the pandemic and dividend disappear. Thanks to opening up the economy, resilient consumer spending, Ark stock has made a comeback and it has reinstated its dividend. Long term, the outlook remains bright for Ark Restaurant, with expected strong consumer sales and industry tailwinds, helping the company increase its bottom line. But that doesn't mean that there won't be any bumps along the way. Much of the restaurant industry is a contrarian play right now, but all the pieces seems to be in place for both Ark Restaurant stock and is growing high yield dividend. That's it for today. We'll be back with another video soon. Stay tuned. And in the meantime, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye for now.